Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and today we are going to take a look at how war is waged, battles are fought and conquests are undertaken in the new world. And if you haven't seen the first and the second part of this little video series, then I strongly recommend you to do so. You will find the links to them in the video description. Now with that said, I also want to thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as all users of the YouTube thanks function who made one-time donations. Thanks guys. So, while in the first part we have taken a look at how the players handled their by comparison easy conquests, and came to the knowledge that even when species and nations wage an internal war, some rules, while they will be inevitably broken at a smaller or a larger scale, apply to the warfare at hand, as long as there's an understanding that the other side is somewhat similar to oneself, and that they can be reasoned with within one's own moral framework and understanding of the world. But in this third and final video, we will take a look at what happens if this isn't the case, if both sides are so alien, so incompatible to one another, that there is simply no common ground strong enough to come to any sort of understanding, because it is simply not supported. Then you will find the most bloody, merciless and cruel kind of warfare imaginable. Unlike species or cultural internal conflicts or the conquest of players, they were all made in order to rule or to change the population. But the wars between, for example, the Beastman Kingdom and the human nation known as the Dragon Kingdom are totally different and total in their entirety. They are not war of conquests or of subjugation. As far as the Beastmen are concerned, they are preying on a herd of cattle. To them, us small, weak, squishy humans are not seen as someone to be talked to, someone you can negotiate with, someone with whom a compromise can be reached. We are seen as food and nothing more. And when was the last time that you tried to negotiate with your dinner? The Beastmen come from a culture where humans are seen as game and livestock, as prey, and not as the other side. As far as the Beastmen invading the Dragon Kingdom are concerned, there is no other side. They are hunters in a hunting ground, and even if a hunter is killed by what amounts to the equivalent of a wild boar, to them it doesn't matter, it is just a hunting accident. And judging by how brutal this war of annihilation is for the Dragon Kingdom, the Beastmen themselves might even eat those who had fallen in battle. After all, this invasion isn't so much an invasion as a feeding frenzy. And if they in their culture believe that the weak deserve to be eaten, then they are acting morally correct as far as they're concerned. And in the major cities that the Beastmen have already conquered, they are holding lavish feasts, eating men, women and children, like we would eat steak and meat at a grill party. On the other hand, the humans are also of the very same mindset when it comes to dealing with demi-humans and heteromorphs. For example, the entirety of the Adventurer Guild has but just one task: kill everything living or not that could be a threat to humans, no matter who attacked first. Humans should attack last and finish the job. The adventurer team of Swords of Darkness never made an attempt to reason with the goblins and the ogre migrating from out of the forest, and the ogres and goblins never asked for a place to settle down or the right to pass through the kingdom's land unhindered. Both sides treated another as so alien, so incompatible with one another, that the only thing that could happen between them is battle. There is no room for negotiation. There are no prisoners taken or land simply occupied. It is always a mutual war of annihilation. Except when it isn't. If all of those things are happening on a daily basis somewhere in the new world, they don't have to happen. because despite all of the biological and cultural difference these goblins and ogres have, they still can coexist with other species, such as humans, even when they are not summoned ones, bound to their human masters by a bond of eternal loyalty. But what one side requires in order to facilitate this is an overwhelming advantage in power and the willingness to not only want to profit from the ogre's numbers and strength, but also the restraint and level-headedness to cut the other side a good deal and make sure that the ogres, for example, get a fair share for their work. Essentially, the more powerful side must be willing to make an inferior mortal foe a citizen, or at the very least a subject, rather than a danger that needs to be dealt with. Therefore, the only reasons why Ainz was able to take in the little hobgoblin and later the ogres is A, because the village of Karn just got decimated and was now in a desperate need for any labor that they could get. B, that the goblin troop were already present within the village after Ainz, a trusted village member, introduced them and showed that the goblins she commanded and controlled could contribute to the greater good of the village. And C, because Ainz was not only willing to take in the ogres, but also now had the military might to make it pretty clear that Karn had the upper hand in any potential conflict. And D, because all of the recent loss of life Karn had suffered through came from other humans, someone who would normally be much closer to them than any non-human species. Only these factors combined allowed Karn to become a town where everyone is not judged by the look they have or the species that they are a member of, but by what they do instead of what they are and used to represent. And this also happens frequently under players, no matter how cruel the conquest of Ainz Ooal Gown or the 8 Greek kings were, no matter how many Quagoar or other species lost their life. In the end, there stood a society that had internal and external peace. Furthermore, there are mixed states where humans and other species are living together naturally, and while there are frictions and many animosities, thus far the city-state alliance of Carnassus holds up, though at least in part by necessity, since there's an existential external enemy threatening these cities. So humans, demi-humans and heteromorphs are now willing to work together, so that they may live together instead of dying separately. But sadly none of this is the norm. Usually, while both sides have the potential to live peacefully side by side, their incredible stark contrast in individual and group power, their moral and worldly view of one another, as well as the fact that oftentimes the resources are very limited, leads to an all-out war, where there are no rules, no prisoners, no peace, and just death and destruction, without any form of any kind of diplomacy. And this again is worse when we take a look at heteromorphs. While many heteromorphs can live in peace with other species, the demons in general and especially the natural occurring undead can't. Either covertly, like the Lich Davanok, or directly, like skeletons, zombies, and many other randomly spawning undead. Their goal is to destroy all life and spread death. Their innate hatred for all living things make them unable to live in a normal society, and the only reason why the Sorcerer Kingdom has so many undead and is so peaceful is because they are controlled by a former human, Ainz Ooal Gown. Without him, their natural instincts would just lead them to kill all things living. And what might happen if the memory of Suzuki Sutoru's friends, fades or is stolen away, would be truly horrifying. And this idea of Venture Fanatic, one of my patrons, is so good that I decided that I will make a video entirely about it. So thanks for the idea, Venture. And with that said, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Bad Guy Yi, Ben C, Chrissy, Crowley0221, Sia, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Dystopia II, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, Chromius, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Mervek, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Okill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Paz Sonich, Primus 11, Shrine Keeper, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc War Boss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, there he is again, Wilhelm, and Zonegon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.